So the T-app thing is definitely worth talking about, but as far as I've seen it, it's mostly being talked about in a way that I don't really think is very fruitful. You either get like an explainer video from commentary channels, which give you the impression like they're giving you an opinion, but rarely do. Or you hear more in-depth, thoughtful takes, but those are focused mostly on gender dynamics, which is important, but is also a red herring, I think, in some respects. Hi, I'm Chris, and there's no reason for you to care. This isn't the usual stuff I do. Right now, I'm currently editing 2 longer videos. It's just I got bored, and I'm gonna talk to you. If you don't know, but you do, the T-app is an app for women developed by some guy to rate men that they've dated mostly for the purposes of safety. Are they creepy? Are they catfishing? Are they violent abusers, etc.? It's Whisper Network, the app. And this, of course, bothered some really insecure men.
What's this now? You're rating people?
Girls can rate guys they go on dates with.
Now,
Whoa!
God damn it! God damn it!
Like, it really bothered them.
You mean half a star? It doesn't change the 5-star man who he is. I'm a 5-star man! I'm a 5-star man!
Specifically the ones on 4chan. And so all these chuds like dug around the app's code and doxed all the women who had signed up for it, which is a choice. It is a choice. Oh, well, okay. Right, hang on a second. Whoa, well, it's a different day now because time is an illusion. That means nothing. And also I just needed to update the video. Anyway, in response to the T-app, those same chuds developed a T-app for men, where men could rate women, and almost immediately the app's users began doing revenge porn. And then the T-app for men also got hacked and leaked all of its users' verification information. I can't believe this is real life. So, that's pretty funny. So right now we have a situation of parody in details. 2 T-apps, both designed so that one gender can rate the other, both carrying the potential for users to destroy innocent people's reputations, and both with their own user verification data breach. So they're completely equal in that way, and if you cancel all that stuff out, what are we left with? We're left with one app designed to warn women about creeps and abusers, and another app designed to rate women for how hot they are, whether or not you think she's a slut, and also to leak their nudes. I really sort of feel like you should be able to take the analysis on your own from there. If you need to start a question, would we say that those 2 apps are morally equivalent? Okay, shit posting over. But for real, this app is a bummer though. Not just because it did like the exact opposite thing of what it was literally designed to do, but also because I think it represents the moon man logic we all live under and tends to go unquestioned. The T-app initially seemed like a good idea because of the reality of not just dating, but dating on the apps specifically. Because part of the idea was to be able to warn women about guys who were spread across multiple dating apps to hide their abuse. And Tinder initially seemed like a good idea because it's become increasingly difficult to meet people in today's world. Harder to meet people in today's world. I don't know, do you think that has something to do with designing addictive technology that doubles as a social and vocational responsibility, streamlining the corporation to Senate pipeline, and commodifying social interaction, along with the haunted rectangles we all carry in our back pocket? Yeah, probably not. The T-app, while noble in its goals, is a band-aid for a band-aid applied by the same sweaty air quotes innovators that made the wound in the first place. Everyone is lonelier, everyone is more depressed, mental illness is up, wages are down, prospects are down, support systems are being gutted. Basically, we're all atomized and alienated. Now, the price of friendship, community, relationships, and change, be it personal change or political change, is and has always been inconvenience. And the juice is always worth the squeeze, but I submit to you that these things have become even more inconvenient in modern times for the reasons I just listed. Plus, we're actively encouraged by basically every major force in society to retreat and recoil from inconvenience, while those same forces increase the level of that very inconvenience, and it leaves us all bereft. And it's harder to do difficult things when you're bereft, and so then it becomes this feedback loop. The solution that these forces come up with are things like dating apps, which carry the same inherent issues that got us here in the first place. Having a hard time meeting someone? Try this dating app that's gamified, commodified, and fundamentally shallow. Do you very justifiably feel unsafe, objectified, and dehumanized as a straight woman dating in this way? Try the T-app. Oops. You've been doxxed. Do you very justifiably feel passed over and dehumanized as a straight guy dating in this way? Because there are more men than women on the app, and because women don't feel safe using the apps anyway, so they increase their standards to make the risk worth it for them, which will be superficial standards like height and salary because the app itself is superficial, thereby reducing the dating pool and subjecting you to a barrage of rejection. Well then, try our big titty anime goth Hitler sex bot. Jesus fucking Christ, the future sucks, man. Basically, there's a real demand for safety and intimacy, and the market is happy to simulate both as a freemium model. Anything real can be simulated, and anything simulated can, via profit incentive, flood our existence so that the line between real and fake starts to blur. Why try to improve yourself when it takes time and is hard and often expensive? What? Like just to find companionship? Pay for the girlfriend experience. What's the difference? What I'm basically saying is we are actively goonifying needs. The deleterious effects of this are pretty obvious, right? It contributes to social isolation, which contributes to a growing market for needs being met, which contributes to the market meeting those demands with more goonification and, the feedback loop I mentioned earlier. And to fight that goonification, you get the rise of payment processor censorship and age verification online. Storefronts like Steam and OnlyFans and a bunch of others are censoring some of their adult-themed content and terms and conditions to appease major payment processors, who are in turn trying to appease weirdo activism groups doing a moral panic and regressive governments. It's the same animating force behind recent UK legislation that will attempt to roll out age verification for certain sites and apps that, right-wingers find offensive. And if you want to know why that might be a problem, look no further than the enormous data breach of verification information from the T-app. This will not end well. So this kind of censorship is about trying to stop the goonification of needs, but is that going to happen? No. All it's going to do is either privatize or nationalize morality. It's also an approach that's unbalanced in its understanding of the issue, as evidenced by only showing concern for the end user, the consumer, not the laborer. Let me cook for a second. Chatbots, dating apps, OnlyFans, whatever it is, the way they make money is through gamification and addiction. That's obviously to keep you on apps and platforms longer and to keep you coming back. It's understandable then to put a lot of focus on the end user's struggle with this dynamic. It's hard to resist an unhealthy relationship to, for instance, salacious content when you can just tap your screen a few times to instantly conjure it up. It makes me think about that famous experiment with the mice and the cocaine, where the mice are given a button, it dispenses it, and they just keep pressing it until they die. But if you fill their cage with food and water and enrichment activities and give them a healthy lifestyle, a healthy environment, they only press the button a few times. Just the little drugs, right? Because when you're happy, you don't need it. But the cocaine button, it may as well be an OnlyFans subscription. But the creator side of the economy is also riddled with gamification, addiction, and manipulation. For instance, we widely recognize that creators are incentivized to put out a lot of content quickly, to encourage parasociality, and so on. But we talk less about how those incentives, while very connected to material reality, to money, are also gamified to be addictive. You wouldn't believe how your brain lights up when you look at your YouTube analytics. The shit is wild. You get all these graphs and metrics that you don't need, further gamifying your channel that's already gamified in the form of subscribers and likes. It's just insanely addictive. That's no different for OnlyFans models, by the way. In fact, there really isn't any difference between being a YouTube creator and an OnlyFans creator from a functional perspective. Am I a sex worker? But OnlyFans is more sinister about content creation than other apps because it leverages its reputation as a surefire way to make easy money to manipulate desperate young people into putting their bodies online in such a way that will absolutely affect their future prospects should they decide to do something different. Because surprise, it's not a surefire way to make money. It's really hard to make money on OnlyFans. I tried with my feet. The vast majority, well over 95% of OnlyFans models don't make a livable wage. That's how Spotify works, that's how YouTube works, and that's even how Patreon works. Patreon is supposed to be this big solution to the creator economy problem because ad money doesn't really pay anything. Well, the top 0.5% of creators are probably fine with their ad money, but okay. It's absolutely true that Patreon is essential if you want to have a shot at making any kind of reliable money on this platform. It's the only way, especially if you're crazy enough to be a video essayist or something. Now, I'm extremely grateful to my Patreon subscribers. This channel couldn't be what it is without their support, but it's worth noting that only 2% of Patreon creators make a living wage. In the case of OnlyFans, that puts a lot of people in a very vulnerable situation. Your nudes are online forever, which is why it is so disingenuous disingenuous to blame sex workers for the negative effects of the users on the platform. Because the platform itself is harming everyone. It's incentivizing all of this. So let's bring Tinder and T-App back into this. All of these apps and platforms pretend to meet real needs that have arisen through the disappearance of something real by simulating the thing that's missing and monetizing it, contributing to the further disappearance of the thing. It has always been hard to find a viable partner, but it has gotten harder in recent years because of the gradual disappearance of a real dating scene that naturally arises from community. The community disappears, things get harder, Tinder steps in with this simulated, gamified, shallow, addictive version of it, and it actively contributes to loneliness and animosity between genders, because all the radicalizing red pill statistics come from studies based on the apps, which like 80% of women don't use because they don't feel safe on them. The T-App steps in the wake of the disappearance of more tangible whispered networks and safety resources for women, simulates that, monetizes it, and then does the literal opposite. OnlyFans simulates the intimacy of sex and increases loneliness by replacing the real thing, since, people aren't getting any because community is eroding. YouTube simulates fame without the money and simulates community without the two-way street. It doesn't have to be that way. The technology doesn't fundamentally have to operate like this. It's designed without our well-being in mind. Because you can't put anything back in Pandora's box, I think a better future involves reclaiming the internet and technological development itself for us, not the market. So, if you found yourself agreeing with any of my takes here, or you found yourself feeling edutained, I want to firstly thank you sincerely for watching this far, and also say, go f yourself. Don't let me do that to you. I agree with everything I just said, and it's cool if you do too, but I would much rather you question me in good faith. Don't dismiss everything you hear just because you disagree with one thing, but don't just agree with everything because a few things sound right either. Play devil's advocate in the comments, or, just in your head. You don't owe me anything. But hey, if you want to make points and ask me questions in good faith, I'll answer them. So, have at it, Tiger. Don't be a passive consumer. Be an engaged customer. Be a critic. Okay, that's it. I'm Chris, and this has been Light Work. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna steal FD's thing. God, could you imagine? Could you imagine if I ever get enough subscribers to justify a second channel of lighter work? Could you? No, seriously, could you? I dare you to imagine it. Motherfucker.